Imagine waking up to a worldwide announcement. Every nation on Earth has agreed to a sudden, absolute ban on tobacco. No cigarettes, cigars, pipe blends, chewing tobacco, or nicotine-laden e-cig pods derived from tobacco leaves. Nothing. The declaration lands like a thunderclap in a world long accustomed to glowing embers and drifting blue-gray smoke. Cheers erupt in public health circles. Panic ripples through smokers and tobacco markets. Black market wheels begin to spin as policymakers brace for upheaval. The decision instantly reshapes daily life, economies, and even geopolitics, forcing humanity to confront both the promise and the peril of a smoke-free future. Tobacco's story begins more than 5 millennia ago when indigenous peoples of the Americas cultivated Nicotiana tabacum for ritual and medicinal use. European traders later spread the habit worldwide. By the 20th century, machine-rolled cigarettes made smoking cheap and ubiquitous. After World War II, half of American men and a quarter of American women smoked daily. Though 1960s medical revelations eventually curbed the habit, cigarettes still kill nearly 8 million people each year, more than HIV, malaria, and tuberculosis combined. Now, rather than incremental restrictions, humanity has leapt to universal prohibition. Hours after the ban, legal sales freeze, prompting frantic hoarding. Smokers ransack corner stores, scour online classifieds, and barter for leftover packs. Many attempt cold turkey quitting, enduring headaches, sleeplessness, and irritability. Others seek illicit suppliers. Nicotine patches, gums, and lozenges vanish from pharmacy shelves, and quit hotline phone banks crash under unprecedented call volume. Social media teams with desperate memes and trade offers will swap 2 packs for an asthma inhaler. Emergency rooms brace for a tsunami of withdrawal complaints, racing heartbeats, anxiety spikes, and pounding migraines. While nicotine deprivation rarely kills, millions enduring it simultaneously burden clinics and mental health providers. Addiction counselors scramble to adapt group therapy models for stadium-sized demand. Meanwhile, law enforcement agencies pivot. Customs officers shift focus from intercepting taxed contraband to patrolling clandestine fields where farmers grow tobacco beneath camouflage tarps. Organized crime networks eye profits that could dwarf traditional narcotics as illicit cigarettes become the new gold. Within weeks, air quality improves. Children with asthma breathe easier in once smoky apartment hallways. Hospital admissions for acute bronchitis plummet. Cardiologists soon record fewer emergency heart procedures. Heart attack and stroke risks drop markedly within 24 hours of quitting. Epidemiologists project that within 5 years, more than 1 million annual deaths from ischemic heart disease could be prevented. Non-smokers enjoy cleaner bars, parks, and restaurants, and even smokers notice food tasting richer as their sense of smell rebounds. Yet mental health clinics remain crowded. Nicotine's absence disrupts dopamine pathways. Depression flares in some former smokers. Over time, however, studies suggest ex-smokers experience less anxiety about chronic illness, more energy, and enhanced well-being. The net public health effect is overwhelmingly positive, though the transition is rocky. Economically, shockwaves radiate from farm to finance. About 20 million people worldwide cultivate or process tobacco. Overnight, their markets evaporate, prices crash, and livelihoods vanish. International aid agencies scramble to subsidize crop conversion, sorghum, hemp, solar farms. Yet soils, machinery, and trade ties cannot pivot instantly. Regions dependent on tobacco spiral into recession, prompting migration and food insecurity. Global tobacco conglomerates, collectively worth nearly $1 trillion, watch stock prices implode. Pension funds and individual investors lose billions. Class action suits erupt as corporations demand compensation for business expropriation, igniting trade disputes. Some firms pivot to cannabis, pharmaceuticals, or even inhalable caffeine sticks. Others collapse. Governments grapple with fiscal gaps. Pre-ban tobacco excise taxes generated more than $250 billion annually. Suddenly deprived of this revenue, lawmakers weigh austerity versus new levies, while health systems anticipate long-term savings from reduced smoking-related disease. The fiscal calculus is complex. Though health costs drop as fewer citizens develop lung cancer or COPD, longer lifespans expand pension and elder care obligations. Economists debate whether productivity gains from healthier workers offset the expense of an aging population. Meanwhile, black market activity surges. Smugglers mimic drug cartels, shipping compact cigarette cartons via drones, speedboats, and darknet sales. Seizures of counterfeit products soar, and underground factories churn out unregulated cigarettes laced with heavy metals or mold. Public health officials confront a dilemma: crack down aggressively and risk mass incarceration, or tolerate gray market harm reduction outlets that defy prohibition in practice. Culture shifts too. Cigarettes once symbolized rebellion, glamour, and stress relief. From Bogart's iconic smoke ring to modern streaming dramas. Post-ban, filmmakers digitally erase cigarettes to avoid glamorizing contraband. Artists explore nostalgia, oppression, and liberation in a smoke-free epoch. Hookah lounges and cigar bars reinvent themselves as tea houses or vapor-free social clubs. Casinos, once thick with haze, lose smoking gamblers but attract families and health-conscious tourists. Workplace smoke breaks disappear, replaced by mindfulness walks or coffee chats. Environmental ripple effects are immediate and profound. Tobacco farming drives deforestation, 5% of global tree loss, while curing barns consume vast wood supplies. A ban curbs logging, allowing reforestation and biodiversity recovery. Pesticide runoff diminishes, and microplastic pollution drops as trillions of cigarette filters no longer litter streets and waterways. Tobacco's carbon footprint, nearly 84 million metric tons of CO2 annually, contracts, aiding climate goals. Long-term, a generation grows up without cigarette smoke in homes, cars, or playgrounds. Epigenetic studies suggest smoking alters DNA methylation. Eliminating tobacco may gradually ease inherited risks for cancer and metabolic disorders. Health inequities narrow as marginalized groups, historically bearing the brunt of smoking-related illness, experience life expectancy gains. Nonetheless, new addictions emerge: alcohol, sugary snacks, digital dopamine loops. Public health planners must preempt substitute dependencies with robust mental health programs, physical activity initiatives, and community support. Politically, worldwide prohibition would require unprecedented international coordination. The World Health Organization's Framework Convention on Tobacco Control promotes gradual reduction, but a blanket ban demands a new treaty and enforcement architecture. Tobacco lobbyists wield deep pockets. They would sue under investor protection clauses, claiming expropriation. Public opinion is divided. Many smokers accept restrictions but resist outright bans. Success hinges on phased timelines, ample cessation resources, and public buy-in to avert backlash. Looking ahead, the absence of tobacco might save millions of lives, cut hospital burdens, and rejuvenate ecosystems. But abrupt prohibition risks economic collapse in growing regions, empowered cartels, and civil rights tensions linked to enforcement. A more pragmatic path may lie in relentless harm reduction. Higher taxes, plain packaging, targeted quit programs, and gradual phase-outs of cigarette sales. Letting cultural norms evolve away from smoking without triggering global upheaval. Yet, our hypothetical shines a spotlight on what is possible. Eliminating tobacco use could free humanity from one of its deadliest, most ubiquitous addictions. The challenge is balancing liberty with health, industry with ethics, and immediate disruption with long-term salvation. Whether through sweeping bans or incremental reforms, a smoke-free future remains within reach if nations, communities, and individuals commit to a common goal: breathing easier, living longer, and consigning tobacco to the pages of history.